Fellas and ladies, here recently, we've had the ability to donate fractalines and obtain god rolls with ease right there at the Tower Obelisk. Now, there's many weapons to go for god rolls. We actually did a video talking about all the god rolls that you should look for. We normally kick off the season with one of these videos, but then we always do like an in-depth review of every single one of these. Now, Black Scorpion has been present with random rolls for quite a while now, but it was difficult to get a god roll Black Scorpion. That is, of course, until now. Now, Black Scorpion is a Vice rapid-fire scout rifle, meaning it shoots in full auto, has deeper ammo reserves, with a slightly faster reload when the magazine is empty. Probably the most popular 260 in the game currently is the new exotic Symmetry, which just dropped on us in Season of Dawn, and of course, Randy's throwing knife, which was the Crucible Pinnacle Scout Rifle last season. Now, you saw a huge uptick in usage of scout rifles because a lot of people were just trying to get Randy's throwing knife last season, but on top of that, a lot of people were actually trying 260s inside of Crucible, probably for the first time ever. Now, many people love Randy's throwing knife, and I gotta say, Randy is nice. It's got a great static roll with the ability to choose either rapid hit and Zen moment for just crazy consistency, or rapid hit and kill clip, which is also a deadly combo. But when we actually sit down and compare stats to stats, Black Scorpion is actually superior to Randy in just about every category outside of maybe range. But where Black Scorpion really starts to get the edge on even something like Randy is the random rolls that it can roll with. First up, let's go over a few rolls that we tried. I wanted to combine Rangefinder and Zen Moment together. I wanted to introduce essentially the same stability or equivalent to that of something like Randy's throwing knife with rapid hit, but simultaneously add on a crap load of range. And we actually accomplished this. Rangefinder, accurized rounds. We even got corkscrew rifling here for that increase in range. And if you play on console, if you happen to get one with arrowhead break, you can actually apply arrowhead and put the recoil direction at 90. No, it won't be completely vertical, but it definitely allows it to be more manageable for my controller users. Regardless, this seemed like a fantastic roll. And yeah, it does have a lot of consistency. Zen Moment is beautiful because even if you land a crit or land a body, that weapon still stabilizes. And Rangefinder allows for your weapon to really hang in those super long ranges. In Scout Rifle versus Scout Rifle territory, you can see these 260s really start to drop off against weapons like Jade Rabbit or Polaris Lance, simply because they just don't have the range stat. The problem that I found with this roll is that yes, it is good, it's consistent, it has everything that you would want in a scout rifle. The problem is that there's just not enough maps to take advantage of this super high range roll. Everything about this would be perfect on a map like First Light back in Destiny 1, where things really spread out. But here in Destiny 2, you rarely get a map that spreads things out. Maybe Rusted Lands occasionally, but most of our maps are pretty confined. And even though Rangefinder is something that's super beneficial to extend that range, on Black Scorpion, it actually begins to mess you up a bit in close quarter combat, as that zoom magnification somewhat lurches your field of view, thus making those dueling situations in the mid-range difficult to win out in. So then this led me to look for another roll. I wanted something on the other side of the spectrum, something that was super snappy, but still maintains that stability that we had with the previous roll. And voila, we came across a Zen Moment snapshot combo. Now, there's one thing to say about 260s in general. Even though the weapons don't necessarily have the worst handling speed, it's pretty awful. I mean, about as bad as it can get. Like currently, the #1 worst scout rifle in the game in terms of handling speed is wrong side of right. Weapons like Christmas when you aim down sights. Takes forever. And that same scenario affects these rapid fire scout rifles. For some reason, Bungie starts to ramp up handling speed for every consecutive archetype of scout rifles, maxing out at the highest amount of handling speed at lightweight, and then at rapid fire scout rifles, that handling speed just plummets, resulting in the weapon feeling super clunky, which is why the snapshot roll seems super beneficial, at least for the most part, allowing me to be immediately aiming down sights. And considering that I thought I was really going to be hurting for range without something like Rangefinder on this roll, I still rolled it with full bore and accurized rounds. The weapon also comes with a stability masterwork if I wanted to completely fully masterwork it, but Zen for the most part kept things pretty stable. Now, my conclusion with this roll was that everything about it should have just shouted perfect, right? You got the snappiness, you got the stability, you've got the range stat. This roll should have been it, but it wasn't. Consistency is the key when it comes to these rapid fire scout rifles, so much so that it's often recommended to not shoot the weapon in full auto, but instead to tap fire, which kind of defeats the purpose of that Vice rapid fire intrinsic perk to begin with. I had all but given up on Black Scorpion though, because I just found that the weapon, despite being one of my favorite weapons in year one, just did not seem as clean and consistent as I remembered until I came across this roll right here. A very unlikely roll to ever be considered good. It comes with opening shot for that improved accuracy and range on the opening shot of an attack. Not a common perk on scout rifles. Some of the scout rifles that jump out to us that have opening shot, the cut and run, transfiguration, does not compute. Opening shot here on Black Scorpion though allowed me to take advantage of that improved accuracy on the initial shot. And if there's anywhere that rapid fire scout rifles are hurting the most, it's on that first shot. And there's been initial accuracy buffs for weapons in the past, most notably things like hand cannons. If you remember back from year 1 in Destiny 2, hand cannons had terrible initial accuracy. Bungie did this purposely. They do this because they actually want you to stop, sit, and aim down sights in lane. Now, you don't necessarily have to do that, but if you want to get the most out of the weapon and get that level of consistency, you have to do that, especially with something like Black Scorpion here. And as someone who likes to move a bunch, aim down sights, check radar, when I come out of my sights, get angles, all of those things, that brief moment from the hip to aiming down sights breeds a lot of inaccuracy, thus resulting in me losing fights simply because I missed maybe that first shot. And considering that this weapon does have only a 0.93 second time to kill value, despite it being forgiving at 3 crits and 2 body, missing any shots is going to pretty much screw you over. Opening shot, guys, completely fixed this issue for me. Now, it also came with hipfire grip, and I actually paired it with a freehand grip as those things do stack. Kind of messing around to see how well the hipfire actually works on this weapon when those things are stacked together. It's not bad. We've done some pretty crazy shenanigans in the past where we've taken hipfire grip and freehand on certain weapons and gotten crazy accuracy. Black Scorpion, I would not say needs that hipfire grip. However, I do believe that freehand grip is still an excellent mod choice, and a lot of people normally jump to other mods to give a go. Freehand does a lot more for you than you think in terms of ready speed, and also combined there with opening shot. Those two things together, without taking up that first trait slot, will keep that initial shot extremely accurate. Hands down though, guys, opening shot changed this weapon to me. I was this close to putting Black Scorpion in the vault and saying, all right, that's it. If I'm going to use a 260, I would rather use Symmetry or even Randy. But opening shot on Black Scorpion has changed me, fellas. But what is the best trait to pair with it? This is where things start to diverge. For my console users, I think Zen Moment with opening shot is excellent. And I know a lot of people are going to say, man, I wish we could have things like Rampage or something to buff that damage. And as much as I would like some damage dealing perks here, that's not what Black Scorpion's trying to prove, right? Like, there's obviously more lethal rolls on other scout rifles, especially things like Randy with rapid hit and kill clip, that if you're just looking for a scout rifle to pump out damage, then you shouldn't be using Black Scorpion. But if you're looking for just super consistency, for my console and controller users, Zen Moment with opening shot will do wonders for you. Now, for my PC users, we've got a little more ease of use when it comes to recoil, but there was a few things that I was really hurting for, that even a console user, if they can maintain the stability of the weapon, might really want to consider. And that is actually pairing moving target with opening shot. Now, if you wanted to go the route of, like, say, moving target, opening shot, and steady rounds, yes, you do hurt your range. Maybe you can make up for it with some barrel perks. But like I said, even the lowest range Black Scorpion that we played with, like I'm talking like in the 20s, I barely ran into a situation of damage fall off. Obviously, this becomes more apparent on long range maps. And if you're looking for like a scout rifle for Gambit, like for invading or something, then obviously you want high range with something like Rangefinder. But the majority, if not all the maps that I've played on, maybe it just agrees with my playstyle more, opening shot, moving target would be a godsend. That's what made Black Scorpion so deadly to me in year 1. I would rock fluted barrel, steady rounds, and moving target. I would kill my range stat. Wouldn't even choose something like full bore and go with steady rounds and moving target together and still find myself winning duels simply because the weapon was just more consistent than other weapons. But the same thing plagued Black Scorpion in year 1 as it does now, and that is that initial shot always ran into inaccuracies. The difference in Sandbox from then to now is that time to kill overall has dropped dramatically for many weapons, thus making that inaccuracy very punishing. So fellas, that is the roles that I would look for. If you have that role, that moving target, opening shot, maybe accurized or steady rounds, maybe some fluted barrel or other decent barrel perk, let us know. I'm curious to know if our theory is right about this weapon. To me, that sounds like the best role on this scout rifle. But like I said, if you find yourself needing more stability, feel free, guys, to trade out that moving target for Zen Moment. And Zen Moment is essentially rapid hit, mod minus the reload speed, but with more ease of use. Well, guys, that is our review for Black Scorpion. Dude, this fractaling stuff is getting crazy. We're actually able to dive into many weapon rolls that we wouldn't even give a go. I happened to keep that roll with opening shot just as like a last minute roll to try. Didn't even pull it out of my postmaster, just left it there, thinking that these other rolls were gonna just shine way more than this opening shot roll would. Boy, was I glad I didn't delete it. Well, fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.